Good, and again working on our lateral sling. So those muscles that you need to activate to get yourself nice and symmetrical. The slip in the seat, in the saddle, stop you collapsing through your hip. Good, so we'll start sitting on the ball, feet hip width apart, arms down by our side. We'll just get our nice breathing going like we do at the start of our sessions. Get that nice shoulder over hips, bringing our arms up, breathing in as we do. Good, breathing out, relax those arms back down to the side. Get that nice breath in through your nose. Good, and feeling that nice evenness through your seat. So right and left seat bones, equal weight through both of them. Carrying that down to your feet. So nice evenness through the balls and heels of your feet. Lovely. Breathing in. Good, and breathing out. We've just started, Vicky, so you haven't missed anything. Good, so we need our bands and our balls. Or ball, not balls. Good, just a couple more breaths in. And last one. Good, breathing out, relaxing your arms down to the side. Good, still keeping that nice postural work on our pelvic tilts now. So nice breath in, we're tucking that tailbone under, flattening our back, almost trying to round through that bottom part of your back. Lovely, and then coming back to your neutral. So you get that nice rotation through your pelvis, tucking that tailbone under, going back to your neutral. And again, just keep an even weight through both sit bones. As you tuck under and come back. And really draw those abdominals in. Try and make that movement from your tummy, not by pushing through or rolling forward on the ball. The ball will come forward a little bit. But we don't want a massive movement on the ball. Good. Keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed. I'll do 3 more. 2. And last one. Good, and from here we're going to shift our weight over to that right seat bone. We're going to do exactly the same, that imprint, but we're going to really emphasise the weight shift to the right. So you almost want to collapse a little bit through that left hip. Weight there through that right side. Get that nice tuck under, drawing in into your abdominals. Good, hands on hips can just help you give a little bit of feedback what your pelvis is doing. Good. Keeping a little bit of a tall posture, so not really slumping down like a sack of potatoes. We just weight shifting to the right. Nice, last 2. Good, and then we'll do the same, but on our left side, so shifting the weight over to our left seat bone, tucking under, coming back to neutral. Get that nice flat lower back as you tuck your pelvis under. Good. And of course you're breathing with the movement, breathing in, tucking under, breathing out, coming back to the starting position. Good. Last 3. Two. And 1. Good stuff. Coming back to the middle. Let's come off our ball, bring the ball round to our front. Grab it with our hands. Nice wide stance. About shoulder width apart, toes pointing forward. If that's a bit too tight, you can point your toes outwards a little bit. Take a nice breath in. We're going to lower down into our squat. Remember, shifting that bum backwards, our knees dug over our toes. Breathing out, coming up. If you can, raise the ball above your head. I know a few of you got some low ceilings. Just go as far as you can with the ball. Breathing out as you come up, breathing in. Going down. And get that nice control. Make sure you squeeze into your glutes as you come up. Get that nice technique. Even weight through balls and heels as you come down. And not necessarily your heels, or emphasising your toes. Try and make that weight distribution nice and even. Yeah, nice little warm-up exercise, gets the whole body moving. Good, I'm going to do 3 more. Two. And last one. Lovely. Good, let's take a wider stance with our legs. And again, if that's a little bit tight through your hips, you can point your toes outwards slightly. Good, and come down, just sinking a little bit, so we've got a nice soft bend in our knee. Ball's going to be by your tummy, elbows at 90 degrees. Take a nice breath in, we're going to breathe out. Rotate to the side, back to centre. So we're not just thinking about rotating, we're thinking about what our lower leg's doing as well. Make sure as you rotate round to one side, the opposite knee doesn't fall inwards. So we're not doing this. We're keeping those knees out. So squeezing through our glutes. Making that a nice solid base. Keep that nice strong hold with your deep abdominals. So squeezing that belly button in towards your spine. Breathing out, rotating around to the side. Breathing into centre. Good, and just squeezing those glutes, making sure those knees don't collapse inwards. Just keeps that pelvis nice and central. Good, try and guide it with your shoulders if you can. Lovely. One more each side. Perfect. And back to centre. Good. If you have got a low ceiling, I will give you a little bit of a variation to this. You can come on your knees. But the ball's going to come above our head. We're going to come down into a little bit more of a squat. Nice breath in. We're going to go out to the side, reaching out. Back up to centre. Legs stay in the same position all the way through the movement. And we're really focusing on squeezing between our hip and our ribs. So that muscle each side, so as you come over to the right side, that left side squeezes that ribcage down towards your hip. Using that muscle. Alongside your spine. Quite an important muscle to help keep that nice alignment in the saddle. Good, breathing in, coming out to the side, breathing out as you come up. Lovely, we'll do one more each side. And Last one. Good, just straighten the knees. Ball comes down onto the floor, fingertips on top. And we'll roll that ball forward, hinge at your hips. And we can just rock back and forth onto our heels, onto our toes. Breathing with the movement if you like, make it nice and slow. You might get a nice stretch through those hamstrings if they're feeling a little bit tight. Yeah, keeping that nice stretch going. Forward, rocking back onto your heels as you roll back. Good. And then roll the ball back in towards you. Bring yourself back into standing, keeping that nice wide stance. We'll grab the ball. Good. So our left foot, we're going to turn our toe out towards the short edge of the mat, so 90 degrees round to the left. Good, if you can, ball above your head, and we're going to sink over our left ankle into a warrior pose where we've got that ball to hold above our head. So a little bit different. So we're putting even pressure through both of our feet, keeping that left knee positioned outwards, so don't let that knee collapse inwards. Keep that nice breathing pattern going. Always tuck that tailbone under slightly so we get those abdominals firing. It's a nice active hold rather than just a hold. Strong hold, just feel nice and solid through this. And just check your ankles not over 90 degrees, so your knees not going past your toes. Good. Just might feel those legs burn a little bit. Lovely. Coming back to centre, switch your left foot back to the middle and we'll just roll out once more, fingertips on top. Hinge at your hips, roll out, a little break. Breathing in and out, rocking back and forth. Perfect, and then rolling back in again. Keeping that nice wide stance as you come up into standing. Holding the ball, but our right foot this time is going to point out 90 degrees. Ball above your head if you can. And then sinking over our right foot this time. Get that nice tuck under with your pelvis, keeping that right knee pushed out. So not letting it collapse inwards. And of course breathe in, put an even weight through balls, heels and left and right feet. Lovely, again just checking your knees not going over your toes. You've got a nice 90-degree angle. Good, feeling a little bit of a burn, perhaps. Lovely, last breath in, and as you breathe out, twist yourself back to centre, drop that ball back down to the middle, walk your feet inwards. And come wrap round into sitting. Now if you can grab your band, we'll need it for this next exercise. I think everyone's got one. This is fabulous. And we're going to tie the band around the top part of our knee, bottom part of our thigh. And obviously the tighter you do it, the harder the exercise is going to be. Good. So once you're there, we're getting that nice shoulder over hips position. Feet hip width apart. Just make sure you've got a bit of resistance on the band, that it's not really that loose. You are working a little bit. Good, hands as if we're holding the reins. We're going to rotate around to the right, keeping the pressure on the band. So you want to just squeeze a little bit through your hips or through those glutes so you get a bit of resistance, and keep that nice strong hold as you rotate around to the side, back to centre, and then back around to the other side. Good. This is just activating those muscles in our hip to stop that hip collapsing, stop the knee dropping inwards. Good. Just creates that good solid foundation through the saddle up into your riding, up into your arms. Helps with the communication to your horse. Good. And when you rotate around to the side, have a little look where you're looking. Or have a little think even where you're looking. Are you looking down on the ground to go round? So you dropping your left shoulder as you go round to the left? Or are you keeping nice and upright? Keep that nice squeeze through the glutes, pushing the band outwards. Good. Now if you're finding this easy, you can take it to the next step. So either just lifting your heel off the ground, or you can lift your foot off the ground. Rotating around to the side, keeping that resistance on the band. So keeping that squeeze through your glutes. Try and keep nice even pressure through both sit bones. Good. Stopping each time you rotate, so round to the left and round to the right, and then switching legs if you're doing that. Nice subtle exercise, but it gets your muscles thinking what has to be working. Good. Keeping that nice evenness. Squeeze through the glutes. Might find one leg's a little bit easier than the other. Good. Don't let that band pull the knee in. Really work through your hip to keep that nice resistance on the band. Good. Once more. Oh, a couple more. If you've got your foot on the ground. Lovely. And back to centre. Good. Right, let's make sure you've got enough room in front of you. I'll turn face side on so you can see what we're doing. Keep the band around your legs, and we're going to walk our feet downwards till our upper back's on the ball. Bringing our hips up, so in a bit of a tabletop position, I suppose. Nice degrees at the knees. Yeah, we can bring our arms up so they're just out the way here. So again, like the last exercise, we're not letting that band pull our knees inwards. We're really squeezing through those glute meats to really push out through our hips. Take a nice breath in, drawing through your belly button as you do. As you breathe out, we're going to drop one hip down towards the ground. Squeezing through the opposite side so that hip stays high. Coming back up to the starting position, and then switch sides. So it's quite a bit of a glute burner, this one. A lot to think about whilst trying to make it a nice smooth movement. Lovely. And don't forget, you know, pelvis doesn't always stay still in the saddle. The aim isn't to make it a solid pelvis, because we wouldn't really move well with the horse otherwise. It's always going to be a little bit of picture movement in the pelvis, so if we can learn to control that, the better movement you have with the horse. Good. Keeping that breathing going with your movement. Squeezing through the glutes in both senses, keeping those knees pushed out, keeping that hip high. We will do a nice stretch session at the end here. Don't worry, you won't go away with tight hips. Good, we'll do 2 more each side. Keeping those hips nice and high. Good, 1 more each side. And again, squeezing those knees, don't let that knee band push you inwards. Lovely. And then walking yourself back up into that nice seated position. Once you've finished that one, and we'll take the band off. And place to the side. Good, we're going to come down into side line, but we don't need the ball for these next little series of exercises, so that can be placed to the side for the time being. Good, so it doesn't matter which side you start on, we'll do both of them. Good, so it's a bit easier for this exercise if you have your arm outstretched and you're resting your head on your bicep. We're going to stack our knees, ankles together, and just bring our knees to the front. Good. So like that beginning exercise where we've got a wide stance and ball going over to one side, we're really homing in those muscles again here. So similar to our imprints when we're lying on our back, we're just calling them side imprints now. So that space between your hip and your rib cage, we're going to push that down into the mat, and then we're going to lift up away. So we get a nice little mouse hold in that side here, pushing it down into the mat and lifting it up and away, really squeezing, trying to squeeze through those muscles, almost trying to pull your hip up towards your shoulder that you're lying on. Good. And of course, breathing out, squeezing that side into the mat, breathing in as you lift up and away. Good. Keeping that nice smooth movement if you can. Lovely. Pulling it up, making that nice little mouse hole. Good. Lovely, 3 more. And last one. Good. We're going to straighten our top leg. As we do, I just want you to try and create a nice little mouse hole here. Not a massive one, just a little one. So your side is away from the lower part or away from the mat. And I want you to try and hold it there throughout this duration. Just puts your spine in a better alignment, but it's also getting you to work through the opposite side. And part of that lateral sling. So we've got a bit of a soft bend in that top knee. We're going to bring our leg forward and toe tap the ground. and then back up to the starting position. Breathing in as it toe taps the floor, breathing out as it comes back up. Now just be careful your pelvis doesn't rotate forward as you bring your leg forward. You're squeezing through those abdominals to keep your pelvis still, so we can really work that hip muscle. Good. Still keeping that nice little mouse hold if you can. If you find you're holding a breath trying to do both, then just relax that side, focus on your hip. And try and control that movement, so nice and slow. Not very slow, but controlled. Toe tap on the ground and back up. Lovely. We'll do 2 more. And last one. Good stuff. Placing that knee back down. Good. We're going to switch to the other side. Good. Stacking your knees, stacking your ankles. Arm out in front so you can rest your head on your arm there. Good. And we're going to do those nice side imprints. So pushing that lower section of our side into the mat and then lifting it up and away to get that nice little mouse hole between our rib cage and our hip. Breathing out as we push ourselves into the mat, breathing in as we lift up and away. Get that nice little gap. And again, trying to make it nice and smooth. Don't worry if it's a little bit sticky, a little bit jarry. It's maybe a little exercise for you to focus on at home. Good. Good, we'll do 3 more. Really trying to squeeze that lower, the hip that's on the floor up towards your shoulder. Really activating those muscles. And last one. Good. Perfect. So coming into that nice little, with a little gap on our side, we're going to straighten our top leg. Bit of a soft bend, going to toe tap forward and come back up to the starting position or into a nice alignment. So imagine your ankles coming back into that hip shoulder alignment. Good, keeping that nice little mouse hole if you can, but breathing out as the leg comes up, breathing in as you toe tap forward, making sure we're not rolling forward with our pelvis as well. Good. Important to breathe, so if you're finding you're holding your breath, trying to concentrate on all those things, just focus on your hip. Don't worry about that side. Good. 2 more. And last one. Back up. Good. Press that knee back down there for a second. Lovely. Right, let's switch over onto our front. Just grab a drink quickly. Lovely. We're going to bring our arms out in front of us, the legs stretched out as well. Good, so you can rest your head on the mat if that's a little bit more comfortable. You can lift your head up, entirely up to you. So draw that belly button in. We're going to lift opposite arm, opposite leg up. And slowly lower it back down. Other side. And controlling that movement back down. Breathing out as it comes up, breathing in as you lower, arm and leg, opposite arm and leg. Good, and just think about what you're doing with your leg. Try and squeeze through that glute as the leg comes up. Just overrides using your hamstring too much. Good. Do 3 more each side. Again, just controlling that movement all the way back down. Keeping that nice strong drawing in of your belly button. Just stops you arching through your back too much. Gives that lumbar spine a little bit of support. Good, last one each side. Lovely, place your arms or your hands by your shoulders, take a nice breath in. Push yourself up into your 4-point kneeling. We'll just stretch off our back slightly before we go into a bit of a challenge. Hands out in front, widen your knees, sink back over your heels into that child pose. Let's make it a little bit active. Walk those fingertips away from your body so you get that nice stretch through your lats, through the base of your spine, right up to your shoulders. Yeah, just controlling those breaths, keeping it calm. Lovely, and then bring yourself back up into kneeling. Good, so for the challenge we need our ball. We're going to come into kneeling with the ball to our side. Now I want you to be in a nice straight position, so I don't want you to go into the ball like this. Hips forward, rolling onto the ball out to the side. Good. So to start with, you can pop your hand, the hand that's round the ball on the ground, just as a little bit of support. Otherwise, if you want that challenge, you can wrap the hand round. We're going to straighten our top leg. And then we're going to join it with our bottom leg, but slide the foot just slightly behind. Good, so the top leg is almost a little bit further forward, bottom leg. Good, in that nice alignment. From here, the challenge is to lift that top leg and keep your balance. You're finding that easy, bring your top arm up. And breathing, of course. The challenge here is not to roll forward onto your face or backwards onto your bum. Good. Okay, we're all pretty good at this. few of you haven't tempted your arm yet. If you want to give it a go, by all means do. If you need a break, pop that leg down because we have worked our glutes quite hard today. And then give it a second go. See if you can raise both up at the same time. Nice. Good, coming back down, let's switch sides, see how we get on the other side. Now you can probably go until you've all started on your stronger side. So again, it's that nice alignment, hips forward, coming onto the ball, either wrapping your hand round or sticking it on the floor. Top leg comes straight but a little bit forward, followed by straightening your bottom leg. Just tucked under behind. Good. So starting with that top leg if you like. Then if you can, the arm. Good. Oh, this is too easy. I'm going to have to make it more difficult for you guys. Good. So it's just those subtle little movements. You have to adjust yourself to keep or maintain that posture on top of the ball. But we worked hard at using those muscles, we're activating those muscles, strengthening those muscles today, so you really got them firing before we did this exercise. I reckon if you did this cold, you probably wouldn't be as good. Good, take a break if we need. And we'll do that again. Lovely. And see if we can raise both arm and leg together. Good stuff. Breathing, of course, not holding our breath. Good. Bringing ourselves back down. Lovely. Let's pop the ball to the side. Let's get a nice stretch going. Take a drink if you need to. That's not going to stay there. Good. But we'll come into sitting. We're going to tuck one leg in front, one leg behind. Lovely. And the way you want to fall, we're just going to bring our elbow down. And almost stretch our arm over and try and elongate that arm away from your body so you get that stretch all the way down the side here. Always trying to pull that hand, push that hand further away. It helps lifting up through your rib cage. Try and ease that stretch. Lovely. Coming back to centre, switching our legs over. Good, falling onto that elbow, lifting that top hand up and away, lift that rib cage up. You might notice a difference. One might be a little bit tighter than the other. And again, breathing, calming that breathing down if you're lovely, and then coming back up into sitting, and we're going to roll onto our back. Make sure you've got a band to the side so we can grab it in a minute. We're going to cross one leg over the other, and before we reach up with that other leg, let's get a little bit of rotation through the hip. So if you've crossed your right leg over, right hand on your knee or on your thigh. If you've crossed your left leg over, left hand on your thigh. And we're just going to roll our knee towards us, the one that's crossed, and away from us. And we can just help with our hand to push that knee or that hip, open that hip up a little bit more. Get a little rotation, nice rotation through there. Good, and kind of breathing with it as well, breathing out as you push your knee away. Try and just relax through that hip a little bit. Okay, just a couple more. Lovely. So when you ease off this one, the leg that's on the floor is going to come up towards you. You're going to hold the thigh. You can hold over your shin if you want a bit of a stronger stretch. Just pull that knee, creep that knee in towards you. So the leg that you've got crossed over, you're feeling that in the glutes, around your bum. Yeah, so you should have some nice calm breathing now. Just as you breathe out, just creep that knee a little bit further in towards you if you can. Good, and just releasing the stretch. And we're going to switch sides, so crossing the other leg over, hand on the thigh, same side, and we'll start with that nice rotation, so knee coming up towards us and away. And just encouraging it to just open up a little bit more with our hand. This knee comes away from our chest. Good. Yeah, breathing out, pushing that leg away. Just trying to open your hip up a little bit more. Good, last one. And then just bringing your knee up towards the chest. Leg that's on the floor. So we get that nice stretch through the glute. Yeah, keeping that nice calm breathing, not holding our breath in the stretch. Lovely, and take a nice breath in, and as you breathe out, just pull that knee a little bit further towards you. Get that extra little bit of range. Lovely, and releasing that stretch. Good, let's grab our bands and we'll loop our foot round, or 1 foot round, holding the ends. Lovely. The leg that we're not stretching can go flat on the floor, and we'll just keep a soft bend in our knee and use that band to pull our leg towards our chest. So we get that stretch in our hamstrings, the back of our thigh. Lovely, taking a nice breath in, and then as you breathe out, the leg comes out to the side. So we're now stretching the inner part of our thigh. Yes, just breathing out, relaxing through that hip, getting that stretch through those adductors. Good, and we're going to bring our leg right up to the top, keeping on the same leg, and then right over to the other side, lifting the hip off the floor. So we get that stretch through the hamstring right into the glute this time as well. Good. And like always, just using your breath, just try and relax a little bit through your body. Allow a little bit more stretch to happen. I know that's a bit easier said than done, especially if it's quite tight. Good stuff. Bringing our leg up to the top, and then we're going to switch sides. We'll switch legs. Good, and starting with that first one. Soft bend in the knee, pulling that band and that foot towards us, towards our chest, to get that stretch in our hamstrings. Keeping that soft bend in your knee, otherwise you get that nasty nerve stretch which can go behind your knee. And holding that stretch for a couple of seconds longer. Good, and taking a nice breath in, and then guiding your leg out the side, getting that inner thigh stretch, that adductor stretch. Good. Allowing that foot just to sink a little bit further towards the ground if you can. Good, breathing in, bringing the leg up to the top. right over to the other side, lifting that hip off the ground so we get that glute stretch as well. Breathing out, letting that hip go. Release that tension. Keeping that nice shallow breathing going. Perfect, bringing our leg back up to the top, unlifting the band and just bringing the knees in towards your chest and rocking a little side to side. Just a little bit of mobility through your lower back as well. Good. Perfect, and then in your own time, just release your knees and bring yourself into sitting. Good job, guys, well done.